We have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction, whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome.
Around about us on the internet, we've yet to be convicted of any crime in our lives ever. We have no criminal record anywhere on the planet ever. Our case was dismissed on the 19th of December in Romania under the Biden administration. And our prosecutor recently decided, because we have no active indictment in court, to let us go and return. This is a democratic society. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, as my brother and I are. And I think it's extremely important that we stop allowing media spin, wrap-up smears, lies, or carefully constructed narratives from George Soros-funded operations trying to destroy the reputations of good people who have no intention to do anything other than follow the law.
The top G and his brother Tristan are officially back in the States, and it's going down in Florida. Tensions are high, and the timing couldn't be more intense. Last night, Andrew Tate and Tristan received some major news from the Romanian court. They've been granted permission to leave Romania, and their names have been removed from the exit control list. Just like that, they packed up and made a beeline for the US, where they used to live before this whole legal saga began.
Why are you in Florida? Why are you here? Did Donald Trump help get you the travel ban lifted? Did Donald Trump help get the travel ban lifted? Why are you guys here? Can you tell us?
Now, here's where things get even more complicated. While the Tate brothers are back in the US, the Florida state government is not rolling out the welcome mat. In fact, they're standing firm, making it clear that Andrew and Tristan are not welcome in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis didn't hold back, stating that they are not welcome in the United States, especially in Florida, citing their criminal background as the reason. He even emphasized that it was the federal government's decision to allow them into the country, not Florida's.
I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction, whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome.
Governor DeSantis didn't stop there. He revealed that he wasn't even informed about the Tate brothers' arrival in the US beforehand. In fact, he found out through the media, just like the rest of us. DeSantis made it clear that Florida has a zero-tolerance policy for individuals with conduct like Andrew and Tristan's, and they don't allow such individuals to stay in their state. This raises some serious questions. How did the federal government greenlight their entry without notifying the state?
With that type of conduct in the air, and I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media that this was something that was happening.
On the flip side, Andrew Tate isn't staying quiet. In a recent statement to the media, he fired back, saying that neither he nor Tristan are criminals and that nothing has been proven against them. He claims that everything that happened was the result of a targeted propaganda campaign, but when it came down to it, there was no tangible evidence to support the allegations in court, and the case was dismissed against them on December 19th in Romania under the Biden administration.
Things that go around about us on the internet, we've yet to be convicted of any crime in our lives ever. We have no criminal record anywhere on the planet ever. Our case was dismissed on the 19th of December in Romania under the Biden administration. And our prosecutor recently decided, because we have no active indictment in court, to let us go.
Andrew didn't just stop there. Andrew Tate doubled down, declaring that it's their democratic right to be considered innocent until proven guilty. And that's exactly what the Romanian court upheld by allowing them to leave. He called out what he described as media spin, smears, lies, and carefully crafted narratives designed to destroy their reputation. Tate even went as far as accusing George Soros-funded operations of being behind the campaign against them.
This is a democratic society. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, as my brother and I are. And I think it's extremely important that we stop allowing media spin, wrap-up smears, lies, or carefully constructed narratives from George Soros-funded operations trying to destroy the reputations of good people who have no intention to do anything other than follow the law.
And now, adding another layer to this already complex story, Donald Trump has weighed in. When asked about any special federal orders that might have allowed the Tate brothers into the country, Trump stated that he wasn't aware of anything regarding their case. He went on to say that if there's something proven against them, he'll definitely look into it and keep the public informed.
Andrew and Tristan Tate landed in Florida today on a private jet after being released from custody in Romania. They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles. Did your administration pressure the Romanian government to release them, and if so, why?
I know nothing about that. I don't know. You're saying he's on a plane right now?
He's back. They already did.
Yeah, I just know nothing about it. We'll check it out. We'll let you know.
If Trump didn't authorize their return, then who did? Who has the power to allow the Tate brothers back into the US amidst all this controversy? This mystery is only deepening as we speak. Could it have been someone within the federal government acting independently? Or is there more to this story that hasn't come to light yet? One thing's clear, this decision has sparked a firestorm of debate, and everyone wants answers. Although they are back in the US, let's rewind and dig into what actually sparked all this agitation against the Tate brothers in the US in the first place. It's no secret that Andrew and Tristan Tate have been polarizing figures for years, but things really escalated when allegations of human trafficking, exploitation, and organized crime surfaced during their time in Romania. These accusations led to their arrest and a lengthy legal battle, which became a global media sensation, but Tate brothers remained rigid on the stance that they are innocent.
Andrew and his brother, Tristan, along with 2 Romanian women, they were all detained in Romania and charged with human trafficking and rape on December 29, 2020. On January 14th, Romanian authorities seized 15 sports cars, 14 designer watches, and cash in several currencies. The total value of goods is estimated to be $3.9 million. And if prosecutors can prove they made money through illegal activities, including human trafficking, the assets could be used to cover expenses of the investigation.
Everybody knows I'm innocent. It's okay. Everyone knows I'm innocent.
Box in your
Everybody knows I'm innocent.
Ask the police what evidence there is against me. They have nothing. Ask the police what evidence they have against me.
Some of the alleged victims have come forward with harrowing accusations against Andrew and Tristan Tate, including claims of rape and physical abuse. One woman stated that Andrew allegedly choked her during intercourse to assert dominance when she was in relationship with Andrew Tate, and she even provided voice messages as evidence, which she claims capture Andrew's voice during moments of her pain and distress.
We started to make out on the bed. Out of the blue, he literally just stopped what he was doing and just laid back. He said, "I'm just contemplating whether I should rape you or not." And I promise you, within an instant, he changed. He just jumped straight on top of me, grabbed my throat, started suffocating me, strangling me. The things he was saying to me, he was like, "Who do you belong to? Who do you belong to?"
Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I fucking loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't fucking pass out. And all the women I've ever slept with, not a single one has ever bitched or complained.
And that's a crucial piece of the puzzle. Despite the serious allegations and the emotional testimonies from the accusers, no conviction has been made against Andrew or Tristan Tate over all these years. The Crown Prosecution Service took on the case involving this woman and 2 others, but after a thorough review of the evidence, they dropped the case. There wasn't sufficient evidence to secure a conviction against the alleged offenders.
The Crown Prosecution Service said, "In this case, we carefully reviewed all the evidence provided by the police regarding each complainant and concluded it did not meet our legal test and there was no realistic prospect of a conviction."
But let's be real, the allegations and the media frenzy surrounding the Tate brothers aren't just about the accusations themselves. A huge part of this outrage stems from Andrew Tate's outspoken influence and his relentless stance against what he calls the Matrix. Tate has amassed a massive following, particularly among young men, by challenging modern-day feminism, capitalism, and LGBTQ activism with bold, unfiltered opinions.
They tried to annoy us, and we're like, we don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. Be a person. We don't care. And now they're like, okay, well, we have to get to a limit where they have to react. We want attention now. because there comes a point where you simply have to address it, and now you have to oppose it. This is why they're so careful and so clever with what they do. They package it all together. LGBTQ. I would argue that G and T are very different things. Beyond. A gay man and someone who's chopped the dick off are very different things. So they package it all together. So now the spectrum of your enemy is so large. You have people who are fully this way. You have people who we accept that are normal in society. We have no problem with gay people. And they put it all together. You're an enemy of all these people. And they complicate the argument and they mix it all together. And now you're a bigot.
His fearless criticism of these movements has made him a target of powerful lobbies and institutions that don't want his voice to gain traction. Many believe that the media outrage against him is amplified not because he's guilty of the allegations, but because he represents a direct threat to the narratives pushed by these groups.
Where do you get your news? I get my news from my own sources. I do my own research, right? And this is my exact point. So we're living in a world now where it's harder. Corona's proved they can still do it, but it's much harder to brainwash the population. So what happens when you have a population of people who work for nothing? Effectively, most people working minimum wage jobs can't even afford to survive. That's capitalism, right? You have a whole bunch of people who can work for basically nothing. The government destroys them. The government steals, everyone knows. We're talking about the Romanian government, we're talking about every government. The government doesn't give you anything you want, and you're just sitting there working your ass off in Starbucks for basically nothing, and you're gonna get pissed off about it, right? And now you can look up on the internet and you can realize a few things that I learned on the internet, that money isn't real, how much they print, how much they steal, why inflation happens, the fact that a mortgage is probably a bad idea, everything you were told in school is a lie. You start realizing all these things. So then what do? You realize, oh shit, we need more control. To stop bad things happening, to stop these people waking up, we need more control.
The saga surrounding Andrew and Tristan Tate is a complex web of legal battles, media sensationalism, and ideological warfare, and their recent return to the US has only intensified the spotlight on their controversial lives. While serious allegations have been made against them, it's important to note that no convictions have been secured, and key investigations, including those by the Crown Investigation Department, were dropped due to insufficient evidence. This raises critical questions about whether the outrage is truly about justice or if it's being fueled by larger forces opposed to Andrew Tate's controversial yet influential stance against modern-day feminism, capitalism, and LGBTQ activism. Andrew Tate's rise to prominence has been marked by his unapologetic criticism of what he calls the Matrix, a system he believes manipulates societal norms and suppresses individual freedom. His bold opinions have garnered a massive following, particularly among young men, but they've also made him a target for powerful lobbies and media outlets that thrive on maintaining the status quo. The intense scrutiny and backlash against him seem less about the allegations and more about silencing a voice that challenges dominant narratives. Now, with his return to the US, these tensions have only escalated, as his presence on American soil reignites debates about accountability, free speech, and the power of influence. The media's role in this drama cannot be ignored. Sensational headlines, carefully crafted narratives, and the court of public opinion have often overshadowed the facts. While allegations should always be taken seriously, the lack of concrete evidence and the dropping of cases suggest that the truth may be more nuanced than what's being portrayed. Tate's claim of being a victim of propaganda and smear campaigns gains credibility when viewed through this lens, especially as he re-enters a country deeply divided over issues of ideology and justice. Ultimately, the Tate brothers' return to the US is more than just a personal milestone. It's a reflection of the broader cultural and ideological battles playing out in society today. It forces us to question the balance between accountability and fairness, the power of media influence, and the lengths to which institutions will go to protect their interests. Whether you see Andrew Tate as a villain or a provocateur, one thing is clear: his presence has ignited a conversation that won't fade anytime soon. As the dust settles on this latest chapter, the world will be watching to see how this controversial story unfolds on American soil. What do you think about the Tate brothers' return to the US? Were they truly offenders, or were they framed to silence their outspoken criticism of the so-called Matrix? The debate is far from over, and their presence in the US is sure to stir up even more controversy. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe they're being unfairly targeted, or is there more to the story? Stay tuned for more updates on the Tate brothers, as their journey in the US might just be the beginning of a whole new chapter filled with challenges and drama. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest developments. Until next time.